Hello and welcome back to Rich's Home Mechanics, and today we're going to be learning how to plastic weld. Plastic weld, you may ask, what is that? Well, plastic weld is a way of repairing a cracked panel or damaged plastic panel, be it a mower plastic deck, a motorcycle fairing, in fact anything that's plastic. You can repair it, and you can do it using tools you've probably got sitting in the shed or the garage, which is the humble soldering iron and the humble cable tie. Now we've got a job here. I've got a engine cover that sits underneath the van. It's got a crack on it. Do I throw it or do we have a go at repairing it? Well, I know I'm going to do on Richard's Home Mechanics. We're going to have a go at plastic welding it. Let's see how we get on. Let's see if we can weld this plastic panel up and get it back on the van. Here we go. Right, this is the panel that we want to repair. Now, before we even attempt to plastic weld this needs to be clean. Now, I've used a wire brush just to roughen it up a bit, both sides. It's free of grease, and the way I clean it, you can either use gunk or I use some of this brake and clutch cleaner. Now, we now know that this panel is nice and clean, and it's as simple as this. We need to repair that crack, and we're going to do it by using a cable tie, which we have here, and a soldering iron. Let's have a go. Let's see if we can plastic weld this panel. As you can see, I do MIG welding, and when I'm doing car panels, I weld exactly the same as this. It's called tack welding, because when you do a MIG, if the metal's very thin, it's going to burn through. And I'm doing exactly the same as what I would when I was MIG welding, but I'm using plastic. To see, I'm just burning it, and what you're doing is you're melting the plastic together. When we've done this, if this was a motorcycle panel, I would rub this down with maybe an 80 grit, fill it, and spray it. Job done. But doesn't really matter for this. I'll probably rub it down with a bit of grit, 80 grit sandpaper, but this is going underneath the car. But what we're doing, we're literally melting the crack together, and as you can see, we're using the cable tie as the filler. Here we go. Looking good. That's melting. See what it does? It melts the panel. If you're using the cable tie as a filler, you know, take your time. That needs to gently go off. Right, what else have we got here? Got a crack here. Let's have a look. See if we can weld this one. Get that in position. And again, we're melting the cable tie into the panel. Just take your time. There's no rush. Just have a look. Stitching it. That is melting the crack together, and again, as I said, we're filling the hole with the cable tie. I need to let it go off. There we go. Just need to move that. Right. Just take your time, have a look. Don't put the soldering on for too long, because it's like a MIG welder. You'll burn a hole straight through it. We just want to melt these cracks together. Needs to come up there. So that's still going off. Here we go. I'm not going to go too mad there. I'm going to let that settle for a minute. When you come to the edge, be very, very careful. So you can see that stuck now. Look, it's plastic welded it. Just gently to the edge, because I don't want to burn the edge out. And again, you're just melting the crack together. And I think we've got a little one here we can have a go at. How cheap a fix is this, eh? A soldering iron and a cable clip. Lovely. See how it's melting? You need to let it settle. Try not to disturb it too much while it's going off. Obviously, if you was talking about much thicker plastic, you'd hold that soldering iron a lot longer. But this is only probably about 2 mil, 3 mil. So I'm being very gingerly with it. I don't want to burn holes through it. But if you do, just use a thicker cable tie, and fill the hole up. See how we're stitching that? That's going lovely. I'm happy with that. A little bit there. Anything else? Now we'll let that settle for a minute. There we go. Okay, we're just going to let that go off for a minute and we'll come back in a minute. Right, what we've done now, we flipped the panel over and we're going to just plastic weld the other side just to reinforce it. It's something that you just take your time with. Every time you do a weld, just have a look. Looking good. A little bit here. So if just by doing this, it just saves you a few quid. You know, if this was a motorcycle panel, you'll just get the old 80 grit, rub it down roughly, then get some wet and dry 1200, put a bit of filler, job's a good one. There we go. See that? That's now nice and sturdy. Now I ain't going to worry about the back of it because that's not going to be seen. But obviously if that was going to be seen, I'd spend a bit more time and rub that down. Let's just flip it over, shall we? There we go. We've let the plastic go off and we're just going to give us a quick sand down. Doesn't need a lot. Now, as you can see, this panel is now solid lock. That's now give that panel a new lease of life and we can put this back on the van. A very simple, cheap fix you can do yourself at home, as we've done on Rich's Home Mechanics. Now if this was a motorcycle panel or maybe a mower deck, I'd be putting some flexible filler. State you need to use flexible filler in there, fill it up, rub it down, undercoat, spray, job's a good one. And there we go. Bit of plastic welding, something different, wasn't it? Thank you for watching my channel. Please feel free to subscribe and hit that notify button. We'll see you on the next edition of Rich's Home Mechanics. Thank you for watching. See you soon. Bye bye.